Hello, today we'll be speaking with you about pop art with Andy Warhol. Andy Warhol was born August 6, 1928 in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. He was the son of Lithuanian immigrants, and growing up in Pittsburgh, he would eventually study at Carnegie Institute. In 1949, he would move to New York City to become a fashion illustrator. If you look to the bottom right, you can see a picture of Andy Warhol in his later years. Biography continued. In 1960, he would then begin painting in the style of popular comics, which would then inspire him to start painting in the type of art pop that became associated with Andy Warhol. It was influenced by a free and expressionist way of painting that very upset the mainstream of art at the time. What really hit him off was in 1962, he became very popular with his images of Campbell soup cans and the Coca-Cola bottles shown in this slide. In the bottom left, you can see the green Coca-Cola bottles, and then in the bottom right, you can see the Campbell soup, which I'll come to at a later point. During this time, I think it became what many believe to be the hip and cool thing to do at the time, to go against the grain, I suppose. Many celebrities started associating themselves with Andy Warhol. And moving on. Now we're moving on to his later life. When things started to get a little weird, in 1963 he began filmmaking. He made very weird films, kind of bizarre. One of his films called Sleep, he used to edit the films together and use different imagery, silent films. Some were very, like his work, out there during that time. And then in 1968, he had an attempt on his life, which he started realizing he shouldn't be hanging out with drug addicts, so he decided to not do that anymore and became associated with celebrities at the time. Andy Warhol would die February 22nd, 1987, and the Andy Warhol Museum would be inaugurated or made in his honor in 1994 in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. In the bottom right, you can see a screen print of a self-portrait by Andy Warhol using camouflage. When I was going on the Andy Warhol Museum website, I could see he used a lot of different camouflage paintings and screen prints, all of different colors. This is more like the jungle-esque kind of theme, but a lot of them had different complementary colors that worked very well together. So what is pop art? What's the point? During this time, art wasn't really doing anything crazy. So the point of pop art was to have no personality, that not cause any cathartic feelings, invoke any emotion. It was a rejection of any invention that you would come up with a new idea or anything like that. It was sticking to pretty much shock the world more or less and go against the norm of what was going on in painting at this time. One of the biggest influence he had was not only on comic books, but also influenced by tabloid newspapers that try to just shock with headlines and whatnot. So I was looking at some of his work. This is the work I was speaking about earlier. This is the Campbell soup can, made 1962, and is housed in the Museum of Modern Art in New York City. If you look at all these different cans have different, they're all different types of soup. You can tell it's very the red really sticks out over the white background. It goes through that free expressionist the screen printing that he was going for, and this is one of the most popular images. When I think of Andy Warhol, this is what I associate him with. This is the other one that a lot of people associate Andy Warhol with Marilyn Monroe. Also became another one of his most successful paintings, the Marilyn I believe, made in 1962, and it's housed in Tate, which I didn't know what that is. It's a museum in the United Kingdom. So this image, again, using the very colorful, bright pop images on the left as a comic book, and the right, a dark and black and white screen print. The point of this is to show life and death, the beautiful life of Marilyn Monroe on the left, and then the tragic death of not only her, but life itself. And this is another one of his more popular, which I didn't know about. This is the 8 Elvises, made in 1963. It was purchased for $100 million in 1968, I believe, by a private collector, an Italian collector. This is made with using 8 different screen print images mixed together. Warhol would go on to make another one that was like 20 Elvises all screen printed together. We can just tell by like the symmetry and the focus made in this image. It is very captivating. Elvis, again, along with Marilyn Monroe, was supposed to be what is popular celebrities, which Andy Warhol wanted to be associated with. So here's my first works cited pages using Oxford Art Online. The biography coming from Marco Livingston and David Rogers. I also used the Andy Warhol Museum, but it's also really hard to copy images and put them into PowerPoints there. All the rights are reserved, so you can't like put images from there, so that's pretty difficult. So I had to use other means such as Google or whatever. And then here are all the links to all my different pictures.